Hey, sleep deprivation. What's up? It's a Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite albums, and today I'm going to be doing another album roundup video, also known as mini albums review, where I talk about not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, but 7 albums. And I am extremely tired and busy. I don't have time anymore at all, completely, and I don't want to dedicate full length individual reviews for any of these albums. So I'm just gonna go over them really fast, really quick. So the first album I'm going to be talking about is the new Four Bats album, You Made Me a Star. I had no idea who this guy is. Apparently he blew up on TikTok. I don't have TikTok, and I refuse to download that silly app. Okay? I only found out about this person because Anthony Fantano reviewed his music on his channel and gave it a not good. That piqued my interest slightly, so I thought I should check it out, and as expected, it is boring. This album is 23 minutes long, so you might as well call it an EP. There are like 10 to 11 tracks here, but 3 of these tracks are interludes, and all the other tracks are titled acts, like it's a play or something, like Act 1 and Act 2. But all of these tracks are very brief, they're quaint, they're generic, they're uninspired, and a lot of the tracks on this album are also indistinguishable from one another. They all sound pretty much the same with each other. At the same time, Four Bats also pretty much copies every artist you can imagine, particularly The Weeknd. So yeah, not a very interesting album, not a very memorable album. Nothing goes on this album. Feeling a strong 3 on this thing. Okay, this album is something I've been meaning to talk about for a while now. This is the new Fontaines DC album, Romance. And I had some expectations going into the album. While I never liked the previous 2 or all Fontaines DC's past albums, I've never really fully enjoyed them. But going into this album, I had a little expectations because I really loved the song Starburster. I love the big spacey drum hits. I love the angsty singing. I love the chorus. I'm gonna hit your business if it's momentary blissness. I'm going to. I love the gasps. I love the heavy breaths. It's awesome. But I'm not too big of a fan of the singing part near the end of the track. But overall, Starburster is one of the best singles of the year so far, in my opinion. Another really great single would be Favorite, which is a really nice conclusion to the album. I love the jangly guitars, the groovy bass. Wow, those are some very powerful footsteps. Like my camera was literally shaking. But again, Fontaines DC, despite being 4 albums into their discography, I think they still sound very derivative. They're derivative of many other bands, from Smashing Pumpkins to Nirvana. The track Bug sounds like U2, and it's not just the fact that they're both Irish, but also the vocals sounds like Bono singing. And then the next track, Motorcycle Boy, sounds like Coldplay's Violet Hill for some reason. Maybe it's a bit of a far stretch, but it definitely reminds me of Violet Hill from Coldplay. But it's not necessarily a bad thing because I still like the vocal melodies of that track. The rest of the album just sounds really drab. The songwriting is weak. There are a lot of forgettable hooks. And once again, Fontaines DC has failed to impress me. Feeling a strong 6 out of 10 on this album. Third album I'm going to be talking about is the new Post Malone album, F1 Trillion. Jesus Christ. Every time I film something. Every time I film something, it's like the end of the world is happening outside. So Post Malone, you know him, you love him. F1 Trillion, it's a country album. A lot of people are like, what the heck, Post Malone making country music? He betrayed hip hop. He betrayed the hip hop community. But one theory that I very much subscribe to is that Post Malone has never wanted to be a rapper. He's always wanted to be a country singer. He's only become a rapper because it's easier to get famous that way. So, and as expected, Post Malone feels at home with the country genre. I feel like he's finally come to terms with his own style and his own desires, that he wants to be a country singer. Wanting to be a country music artist is fine, but the issue with this album is that it's just so damn generic. It's so uninspired, so trite, so run of the mill, so dime a dozen, so average, so basic, so boring. There are a lot of songs on this album, and most of them sound like car commercials. There are some funny moments here and there, some fun storytelling, like the track Mexico near the end. And then we have some questionable features. The features, they range from Dolly Parton and Chris Stapleton, who are the legends, to people like Hardy, which is like, why are you collaborating with Hardy? The track Hide My Gun featuring Hardy features lyrics where he's basically like, if I, hypothetically, just an assumption, maybe, perchance, not that I'm killing anyone or anything, but if I hypothetically killed someone, again, not that I'm saying I did, I mean, of course not, of course I didn't. Okay. 4 out of 10 on this album. Light 4. The next album I'm going to talk about is Ice Spice with Y2K. Ice Spice has been blowing up in the last couple of years, and not gonna lie, I don't get the hype. I'm not on the Ice Spice train. I never really listened to her music, and I've never really cared about her at all. I just thought she's like a joke rapper. There have been a lot of joke rappers in the last few years, rappers who are terrible, but that's their whole branding. And Ice Spice is pretty much that. But I think Y2K, being Ice Spice's debut album, sees Ice Spice actually trying to be a serious rapper, and it just didn't really go so well as expected. But not gonna lie, this album is not that bad. I was fully expecting the whole album to be boring, dumb shit. But no, it's just dumb shit. It's not that boring. The production is actually sometimes fun. Not necessarily Ice Spice being talented, but the producers on this album sometimes introduce some interesting beats here and there. But aside from that, this is still the most basic, boring thing she could do. The flows are really one-dimensional. Of course, that's how the meme goes. Ice Spice has one flow, and she does the same flow on every single track. The lyrics are so ridiculously stupid. Of course, with Ice Spice, you also get a lot of pee-pee poo-poo jokes. The lead of single is called You're Not the Shit, Not Even the Fart, because pee-pee poo-poo. And then we have tracks like Bitch I'm Packin', where she does this vocal fry thing. I guess she's trying really hard to sound sexy, but it's not working, and it's hilarious. So yeah, strong 3 to a light 4 out of 10. Ah! Next album I'm going to be talking about is the new Meridian Brothers album, Mi Latino America Sufre. Meridian Brothers, Colombian musical act, they have been making some very interesting music in the last few years, and also I just want to preface that this album cover, one of the best of the year. Love it. Love, love, love it. This is fantastic. However, unfortunately, also I love the album title, My Latin American Suffering. Very cool. I should steal that for like a short film idea, or My Asian Suffering, or some shit like that, That being said, though, I don't think musically this is as consistent as their previous projects. This album is a lot spacier, a lot more experimental, a lot more bare bones instrumentally. There are so many moments on the album where it's nothing but a drum machine and some simple keyboard loops that are kind of sporadic, and then ghostly, ghoulish vocal harmonies. But I love the quirkiness of the music here, the off kiltered, out of tune awkwardness. The track En el Caribe Estoy Triste has the cutesy guitar leads, soft vocal harmonies, and speedy rhythms. I also love the track Mi Pregunta, which is my question, with the shuffling metallic rhythms. The album ending is called Nazco Bueno y la Sociedad Me Corrompe, which is pretty speedy and angular, but not the most interesting ending to the album. So overall, I'm giving this album Mi Latino America Sufre strong 7 out of 10. Still really enjoyed it. Yee. Next album to be discussed is the new Chappell Roan album, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess. Yeah, this is another artist who kind of blew up recently, and again, I'm not as caught up musically as I used to be because I have a life now. So I didn't really listen to her music that much. I remember going to my friend's birthday party, and everyone in that party are, lively, bright, youthful, attractive young adults. And they played Claro and Biba Doobie, oh, I'm so indie, but not quite, but still. And I feel like Chappell Roan sort of exists in the same tableau, as you would call it. The thing with this album, though, it's actually a really solid album. She is a very competent pop artist, and there are a lot of catchy hooks and great energy on this album. The track Hot to Go is legitimately catchy and fun. Like, the verses and the choruses are amazing. I love the reverb on her vocals. She's a little Kate Bush-esque, on this track. Some tracks are catchy and well produced, but it's the kind of pop song that you would forget about them the next day. Like the album opener Feminine Nomenon, which is very tongue-in-cheek and funny, but it's been memed to death. And then there are other tracks like Casual and Kaleidoscope and California, which are epic dramatic ballads, but they're clearly not her strong suit at all. She's good with fun, catchy, poppy stuff, not the ballads. So yeah, but still a very solid album, feeling a strong 6 to a light 7 on this thing. Finally, I'm going to briefly talk about the new Jaubi album, A Sound Heart. Pakistani British jazz ensemble Jaubi, they're back with their third album. I really love their first two albums. I really enjoyed them, in fact. And I feel like nobody ever talks about Jaubi. But with their new album, A Sound Heart, I feel like they have creatively written themselves into a bit of a corner here. It's the third album, and they're still writing, producing, making the same kind of music, which is a mix of Hindustani traditional music and jazz, which is still really amazing and fascinating. I love tablas, how watery and bouncy they are, and the way they contrast saxophones and soft cymbals are just really interesting. The jazzier parts are spiritual and atmospheric, and they sound really interesting. But I feel like we have come to a point where it's just more of the same, and the Hindustani side of the music and the jazzy side are not as creatively blended together. It's like we have some simple jazz backdrop, and then we have some Hindustani strings, and then some tablas attached to it without anything interesting going on. So I just wish there's more interplay between these two genres. Maybe they could expand to other genres as well. Maybe they could go a little electronic next time. I don't know. But for now, I think they have been written themselves into a bit of a corner, unfortunately. Feeling a light 7 on this. So, have you listened to these albums? Comments below. Let me know. Subscribe if you want more. Thanks for watching. Gotta go now. Rah.